Hey, what is up guys, Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. So let's talk about everything that's happening this week. Alright, so hopefully give you guys a better idea in terms of the 100 free pools that's happening tomorrow. With all the things that's happening in the patch notes, so let's jump into it, let's give you guys a better perspective. Now, if you guys are not aware, we are going to have 100 free pools tomorrow for Seiya and of course Uniform Asuna. So School Uniform Asuna, these two are going to be available in a special banner. Now, what are these two characters all about? If you guys are not aware, these two characters are going to be limited, alright? But whether or not you should pull for them is going to depend on a couple of things, right? It depends on whether or not you want to pull for the next one. Because after one whole week of them coming in, we're going to have School Uniform Neru, Rio, and Shinsu Hanako. Now, this is going to be the fast banner. Alright, for those of you who are not aware what the fast banner is, this is going to be the banner where the rates are going to be double. It becomes 6% as opposed to 3%. So this two is still going to be 3%, but the Rio, Shinsu Hanako, and School Uniform Neru, that particular banner is going to be fast banner. Now, alongside with that, the fast banner, they're also going to allow you to get the older fast students. Alright, a lot of them are going to be meta. Now, who are the older fast students characters, right? So Mika is going to be one of them. You can basically spook her. You have a chance to obtain her in the fast banner. Another one is going to be Dress Hina. She's also going to be one of the few characters that are notable in the fast banner. Alright. Now, Shinsu Hoshino, she's very famous, one of the best support to obtain for a lot of new players. Hopefully, if you guys haven't obtained her, you are going to be able to spook her from this particular banner. And then we also have Arm Hoshino. Alright, she's also going to be exclusive to the fast banner. And last but not least, if I'm not mistaken, Shiroko Terra. So these are all the fast banner students. Now, the students that I just listed earlier, alright, right there, they're not sparkable. That means that if you go to 200 pools, you cannot spark them via the PT. So basically, you will have to obtain them. Right? If you guys are not aware, the PT basically once you reach 200 pools, you can select the characters right here, right? From the banner. But the students that I mentioned earlier, those are not sparkable, but they are spookable. That means you have a chance to get them from pulling, but you cannot PT them. Alright, that's going to be how it is. Now, the one that you can PT are going to be these three characters, right? The School Uniform Neru, Rio, and of course, Swimsuit Hanako. Now, in my opinion, if you are new, Rio is probably going to be one of the best ones. She's the best support, alright, that you can obtain in the game. I feel like for most players, definitely she is probably going to be a no-brainer for your account. Now, Shinsu Hanako is probably going to be the second priority in my opinion, because she is going to help you a lot in a lot of situations to try to help you in the PvE content, and also some of the very good in PvP as well for 2 costs. And then she is also very strong in AoE scenarios against bosses. So let's give you guys a better idea on how you want to approach these particular banners, alright, with the code box and of course the list of all of these characters that are available right here. School Uniform Karin will be free. She will be available for free. Alright, you just have to basically obtain her via the welfare. But the rest of these students, you will be required to pull them. So make sure you guys take notes of the dates. Alright, so the Seiya and Uniform Asuna will only be available for 1 week. You only have 1 week to obtain them. Alright, and then the Rio, School Uniform Neru, and Shinsu Hanako, if you guys want to come in, so that one will happen for the next 1 week after, right? So that's going to be something to keep in mind. Now let's first talk about Seiya. In my opinion, you ideally want to try to obtain her if you can. Now during this particular banner, alright, that's happening this week, we are going to get 100 free pulls. Now, ideally, you want to take advantage of the 100 free pulls to try to obtain Seiya. So my advice is, if you want to get Seiya, don't pull her on day 1. Alright, you can wait all the way until day 7. You are going to be given 10 free pulls per day. Last 3 days, you will get 20 free pulls. Now, that's going to be how you want to approach this particular method, right? You want to take advantage of that so that you, ideally, if you can, you'd want to use your own resources so that hopefully you can save your own pyroxenes, your own tickets for later. Alright, which is for the Rio and School Uniform Neru banner. But of course, if you want to, you can also spend your own pyroxenes whatsoever for both School Uniform Asuna and Seiya. Now, I do think that Seiya is going to be a better character for most players. So let's talk a little bit more about what she can do. For those of you who are not aware, she can basically reduce EX skill cost by half, alright, 50% reduction. And this is going to be very, very important, right? And especially she can also increase cost recovery by 718. So she is going to compete with Ui in that particular sense, alright, very, very similar in a lot of regards to Ui or maybe New Year Fuuka to a certain extent, right? Now, I do think that Seiya is going to be a slight upgrade to Ui. If you already have Ui, there's a chance that you can get away with not having her. If you have to pick one, I would go with Rio. I would still advise you to try to get both, but I understand that resources can be limited for some of you guys, right? So Rio is going to be the main priority. Now, if you are like really, really low, you have limited resources, hopefully you can get her off from the 100 free pulls. Now, keep in mind, she might be a little bit difficult to build for new players, right? Because you can see she is going to be right here requiring her EX skill to reach level 5 so that she can basically apply the cost reduction to 2 EX skills. So that's going to be very, very important. So ideally, you want to upgrade her EX skill. Very, very important, right? Now, everything else here is going to give piercing efficiency, alright, to the other ally by 50%. That's going to be very, very good in a lot of piercing type rates or towards yellow characters, right? She's going to pair well with Mika, pair decently with Uniform Nehru as well, or anyone that's a high cost piercing type character. As you can see, passive skill increase healing by 26.6%, and for sub skill, EX skill is used 3 times, grants shield of 195%, healing to self, and the third target of EX for 25 seconds. Alright, all of these are not bad, but ideally her main purpose in any team is just to basically give the EX skill cost reduction, right? Now keep in mind, right here you can see buff duration is going to increase when you UE40 her, and alongside with the healing as well, which do improve the shield effect. Now, all in all, she's going to be a very, very good character. Highly recommend players to obtain her. She should be the priority in the upcoming 100 free pulls banner. Now, another character that competes with Seiya is going to be School Uniform Asuna. So let's talk a little bit more about her, right? So for School Uniform Asuna, she is going to be a little bit more niche. Alright, she's not bad. She's just, so far, in a lot of situations, she's going to shine in Gebura, which is the upcoming raid coming next. So Gebura is a very, very special boss that relies on your special students to do damage. So striker students definitely do less damage in that particular case. So that's where Uniform Asuna shines. As you can see right here, for 3 costs, she will increase attack of self and special students by 63%. That's quite a lot of attack increase, right? So basically you use her in conjunction with like Idol Mary and Idol Sakurako alongside in that particular Gebura team composition, right? So every 40 seconds, heal other allies in the circular area, alright, for 98%, not too bad right here. She can also have a sub skill of increasing attack of self and special students by 30%. So she gives a lot of attack boosts, but towards these special students who are attacker. So if you have a lot of strong special students like Nagisa, Makoto, those students right there, so she is going to shine very, very good, right? So I believe you can use her in Cheesed as well. So you can see weapon passive skill is going to increase her weapon buff duration, quite similar to Seiya right here, and increase healing by 26.6%. Alright, so that's going to be what she can do overall. Now I think Asuna is probably one of the most famous character in Blue Archive. For me personally, I'll try to get both, but if you can only choose one, and if you're looking for meta specifically, then Seiya is undoubtedly going to be much more used in majority of the situations, whereas for Uniform Asuna, the only situation or the only boss that she's good at for now is Gebura, right? Maybe in the future, alright, there's going to be more situation that you can use her in, but that's just how it is in the meta right now. But let's talk about what is going to come after that. So 1 week after, then this is going to be the 6% banner. So we got a couple of characters right here. In my opinion, if you have to pick one between the new 3 characters, I would definitely go towards Rio. Now Rio is going to be the first fast special student. Alright, almost all the other fast students are going to be striker slot. She's going to be the first one. As you can see, she is a 2-cost character, very, very cheap in that particular case. She draws an EX skill card, then duplicate them, and then she also gives you attack boost, alright, 51%. Alright, not too high, alright, this is definitely less than what Himari can give, but for what she can provide, it's going to be very, very good. As you can see right here, the cost of the duplicated card is the base cost of the target's EX skill minus 1. So that means that if the main character's cost is 4, it's going to reduce that to 3. And then you also get the boost as well. It basically substitutes her 2 costs with the basically main DPS character, so you can basically fire twice or activate your skill twice. Very, very strong for a lot of team comps, right? She is going to be pretty much consistently being used in a lot of raids. And also, alright, you can see defense reduction right here for one enemy, 25.5%. Not too bad, right? This is going to be a decent chunk of defense reduction right here. The value is not like insane. I've seen some higher value, but still, this is going to be very, very good. Alongside with that, the passive skill right here is going to increase attack by 26.6%. And then the sub skill increase attack by 17.3%. Now notice her sub skill doesn't give cost recovery. In case you guys are wondering, you still want to pair her with Kisaki in most situations, in most circumstances, so that your entire team comp will be able to obtain the cost recovery generally, right? If you were to UE40 her, the buff duration is going to increase, and then she's going to boost the attack a little bit. But other than that, you don't really need this in particular. It is going to be decent, but yeah, it's not like a crazy thing that you need because she's a special student. So the attack is whatever, right? But everything else comes aside, she is one of the best support in the game. So by far, she is going to be the top tier meta in JP server right now. So highly recommend you guys to obtain Rio. Definitely do not miss out on her, right? If you do miss out on any of these students, you might have to wait one whole year before they will come back in their banner again. So keep that in mind, right? So all of these are limited students. Now let's talk about the second one, Shinsu Hanako. Now this is going to be a rerun for her. I highly recommend you guys to obtain her. She's one of the best DPS AoE student, alright, that can do anything for 2 costs. It's just insane, right? So she's a Sonic type, alright, deals 642% damage, extract 1 more EX skill card if she has additional water gauge, which is bizarre, alright? Just allows her to spam non-stop. So every 30 seconds, she will also do damage to circular area and decrease their defense by 20%. Again, very, very useful for a lot of situations. Passive skill increase attack by 16% and critical damage by 16%. And then the sub skill, charge water gauge by 40% when other ally uses EX skill. Very important, if you can pair her with other low cost characters, she is going to be able to get all of this water gauge. Every 100% charge, increase attack by 38%. Alright, water gauge can hold up to 2 charges. Again, very, very strong character. Highly recommend you guys to get her. Even UE40, I have her at UE50, right? So she's probably going to be one of the strongest character in the game. So the truth is, right now, I do think that if you are a new player playing Blue Archive recently, or you just started, right? She's probably going to be one of the best carry in your account later on in the later stages, right? Especially when you're fighting mystic enemies. So that's going to be something to consider, alright? So definitely get Shinsu Hanako while you still can. Now, as for the last one, School Uniform Neru. Now, this one is going to be a little bit more complicated because she is going to be a piercing type similar to Mika. Now, if you already obtained the Mika, right? You currently already have Mika, build UE50 and everything. How strong is Uniform Neru, right? She is going to be sometimes better than Mika in some situation, alright? Both are going to have the separation in the terrain, right? So, in that particular case, so Mika's terrain advantage is going to be on where Neru doesn't being used, and then you know, they are both going to complement each other. However, if you are a new player, if you do not have Mika, then she is probably going to be very, very useful for your account, right? So you can see right here, she has multiple states, alright? She put herself in the dual state for 70 seconds. It's going to increase damage multiplier by 0.2. And then once you do this, she has one more EX skill right here, alright? Basically where she gains spirit. This can be stacked up to 5. And she is going to be able to deal 1400% damage to one enemy. Alright, when the skill reverts to bring it on, reset spirit count. So you can see, single target, just like Mika, in a piercing type, but she's probably a little bit cheaper to use in that particular case as well, right? Every 35 seconds, increase her own piercing efficiency by 58.8%. She also increased normal attack firing range by 100 and attack by 21.2%. Now the sub skill increase outgoing damage by 24.2%, and each time you gain spirit, then she will get the multiplier of the skill by 0.35. She is going to be very, very strong. Mika has the advantage of being able to crit all the time, whereas Neru, maybe you might need to mult crit occasionally. If you guys have played raids before, you might know Grand Assault, Total Assault. Sometimes you want to like try to do crit fishing. It is going to be a little bit annoying in that particular case, especially if you're lacking in some gears and stuff, right? Now, building characters are going to be very, very expensive in this game, right? So, the problem is, if you have already built a character, You can't just reset the character, get back the materials and stuff. Again, if you are someone who is newer, or you are like a like intermediate, mid-term players, you play for a couple of months and you already have Mika fully built, I don't recommend investing in Uniform Neru too much, right? So try to focus on the other characters that you haven't, especially with Rio and Seiya. Those are probably going to be much more relevant to your account, right, compared to School Uniform Neru. All in all, she's not going to be too bad. I still recommend, if you can afford to still get her because she's a fast student. Now, as far as I know, she is going to be one of the few students that is very, very good in the Hovercraft Wakamo. Alright, so that's where she shines. If you are looking to tackle that particular one, she can pretty much solo that. I think in the recent Hovercraft Wakamo, we'll have to use Mika in one team, and then one more team you can either use Pajama Noah or you can use Mika again. But again, that has been proven to work, right? You can basically do that generally, alright? We also have a few other characters like Pajama Noah, Kazusa, and of course, Dress Kayoko. Also, those are very, very good as well as a single target piercing type. So Uniform Neru is going to compete in that space, which is already, we have a lot of students right there, right? So if you get her, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. I still think that priority for most players, it should lean towards Rio, alright? And of course, if you can spook someone like Swimsuit Hoshino, I think that's going to be much more valuable to your account. All in all, these are going to be the students. I do think that it is going to be quite easy for you to obtain all three of these because based on my experience pulling in a bunch of these 6% banners, the rates are quite high, right? So you should be able to obtain them. Now, if you have to pick, I would say go to Seiya, try to pull for Seiya using the 100 free pulls. Again, the 100 free pulls is not going to be enough to PT her. If you need to, you might have to use another 100 free pulls on your own to try to spark her. And then Rio is going to come afterwards. Hopefully you have 200 for worst case scenario, but you might be able to get Rio super early because 6%, right? So that's going to be something to keep in mind, right? So hopefully you guys are aware of that. So I do think that those two are going to be the priority. Now, Swim Sanako, probably, like I said, is going to be the second priority after Rio. If you can get that, that's going to be the one that you want to lean towards. Other than that, we're going to have all of these new events, as you can see right here. Plenty of new stuff. Alongside with that, we also have the field exploration for Seiya. Very, very cute. Alright, so new final restriction. Okay, this is going to be for special armor. So we are back to doing this for the special one. And then we have the 100 free pulls, like I mentioned. If you log in every single day, you're going to get 10 free pulls for the first 4 days and 20 free pulls for the last 3 days. Recommend you guys to go all in on Seiya on the last day so that you take advantage of the free pulls. There's also plenty of login rewards right here, right? Plenty of things that you can obtain. Seems like you're going to get a single recruitment voucher right there. And then on the last day, you get the 10 recruitment voucher. Very, very cool. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. That's going to be on day 20. Alright, so you will be able to take advantage of that when it comes, right? You can only claim each attendance gift once per account. So keep in mind as well. So total assault, we're going to have a new boss, Gerbura. So that's going to come later on. We're going to have a new difficulty, a Lunatic. Alright, so that's going to be, for the first time ever, very, very, very interesting. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that. Probably going to need like 7 teams or something. Right, but outside of those things, we do have the usual GBs, or like the deaths for both School Uniform Asuna and School Uniform Karin right here. And then Neru has the escalator interaction. And last but not least, Rio right there, right? And then you can see, alongside with that, we got the cute little Seiya with Mika and Nagisa right there in the tea party table. Alright, so plenty of new product packages will be added as well. Pyroxene pack purchase counts will reset, and now you can obtain all of these new items. Alright, so again, if you guys are playing on Steam client, I heard that for some players or some countries, the Steam packages are going to be a little bit cheaper. So if you guys used to buy on your phone or Android or iOS or whatever, consider the Steam client. If you want to buy stuff, it might be cheaper, right? Feel free to check it out, compare, because it might be different according to the region and country you're from, right? So because Steam do have that special price or discount or whatever that's happening, also the tax could be different depending as well. So purchase limits for Pyroxene packs will reset, so that's going to be something that you have to keep in mind. And there's also one particular one you can see, a code box 3-star guaranteed recruitment attack type pack. So that's pretty cool. Once per account you can buy this, and it's going to give you a ticket. They will guarantee you an attack type student. Alright, very cool. And then we got skill growth pack. Alright, EX skill growth pack, and a lot of these you can purchase, but it's limited to how many you can get per account. Okay, so very cool. For the campaigns, we will be getting triple drop and then triple drop for lessons, triple drop rewards as well going on. So right now it is going to be the anniversary, right? So double account EXP. If you guys started recently on Steam and you're looking to basically boost your levels for your account, for your sensei's level, take advantage of this, right? This is going to be the dates where this is going to happen, usually on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you have a lot of stamina stacked up from Thursday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you spend a lot right there, you are going to get double account EXP. That means you can level up your account faster, right? So you want to do that because your students' level are going to be capped to your account level. So that's going to pretty much it for this particular video. As per usual, let me know what you guys think of the upcoming 100 free pulls. Are you guys planning to get all of them? Make sure you guys do the Momo talk, push the campaign if you guys haven't already, get all the pyroxenes up and ready. That's gonna be it. Subscribe, give this video a like. See you guys again very soon. I'll be streaming on Twitch later as well. If you guys want to tune in and ask me any other questions, feel free to do so. Have a nice day. Goodbye.